Hello everyone, it is Tuesday here at the Breakfast Club and you're here with a sick Sister Danger. Ironically, on the heels of JJ's last topic, I pretty much feel like death warmed over right now. Sunday morning, I had a Subway from Jersey Mike's and I'm pretty sure I got food poisoning from that because the last 3 days, more or less, have been highly unpleasant. So, what I wanted to talk about was a situation that occurred at the pub last week when I was there. And I bump into this guy who I end up talking to for most of the evening. So about 2 hours into my conversation with this guy, you know, we're both standing at a bar that's kind of like an island. And he goes to move behind me to go around the other side or to go get a drink or something, I don't know. But he does this thing, you know, where he sort of brushes his hand across my back and sort of grazes it across my ass. I looked at him like, what are you doing? And he looks at me, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. And I was like, yeah, no, you shouldn't have done that. And I'll accept your apology by way of it not happening again. And to his credit, it did not happen again. Later on, after he left, I was talking to some of the guys outside. They were quite divided on this topic. Some of them thought that this was absolutely 100% unacceptable in any situation and constituted sexual harassment. I did not think that, obviously, since I didn't make a big issue out of it, but and others of them were a little more kind of my stance, right? So I'm kind of curious to hear what other people think on this topic. Prior to this guy making this type of a pass at me, there was no line in the sand. There was no indication that he shouldn't stand near to me. You know, he shouldn't, you know, be friendly enough that he could touch my shoulder or something to that effect, right? You know, I was not offish and in a corner, nor was I like twerking this guy either. We were just standing at the bar. So it was very in context for the situation, at least to my mind it was. And then when I did say something that was not receptive to the pass, and he didn't do it again. Now, to my mind, before there's a line in the sand, that means this is an unknown. And the only way to determine whether or not that it's okay to advance the situation if you are trying to hit on somebody is to try to make a pass. Frankly, I want this guy to be able to do this thing without there being, you know, a cacophonous outcry. Specifically for the reason that I personally don't find somebody making that type of a pass at me all that creative or enticing. And I want that red flag to go. I mean, to me, if somebody does that, that is a red flag in my mind that I'm not going to progress with you. And I want to have that red flag as soon as possible. I don't want to have that red flag after a date or 2 dates. You know, if I can find out in 2 hours of talking to you that this is how you're going to behave, then that lets me know the rest that I need to know. And you know, the other thing that I also want is the prerogative to be able to change my mind in the positive direction. You know, if this guy was hitting on me and I wasn't particularly being receptive and I was saying, no, 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 there's nothing to say that he couldn't give it one last shot. And then I'm like, you know, I've changed my mind. Why don't we go do X, Y, or Z? There's no reason that I can't do that just as quickly as I could decide in the middle of sex that I don't want to be having it anymore and now all things have to end abruptly, right? You know, if I can decide one way, surely I have the ability to decide the other way as well. I want that ability to be there. I want that flexibility to be there in a social setting. Not to mention, I don't find this whole millennial idea of asking positive consent Is it okay if I hold your hand? Is it okay if I sit next to you? Is it okay if I hug you? Is it okay if I look at you like I think you're beautiful? Is it okay if I kiss you? Is it okay if, like, to me, that is destroying any kind, it ruins it, right? I mean, that's ridiculous. It's like, go for the move, and if I say no, then that's it. Then that's what needs to be adhered to. But my God, asking for consent every single little step of the way is like, I don't know. I'm curious to hear what other people's thoughts on this are. I really don't feel very well, so I'm sorry I'm not more articulate, etc., etc. But Nathan Brendan Masters will be up tomorrow. I look forward to hearing what he has to say, and leave your thoughts and comments in the low bar. Have a good one, everybody.